Hi there. Are you looking for a calm space to find in this turbulent world? Are you looking for more love, more peace, and more abundance in your life? Do you want to wake up each day with greater purpose and feel more fulfilled? If you are, then CSLNJ is the place for you. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey. Over the past 2 decades, our open and affirming community has created a safe space for all to come and be uplifted. I hope you enjoy watching. And if you like what you see, please visit us at CSLNJ.org.
Good morning, everyone. What a way to start the morning. Wow. I wish I got that every morning when I woke up. I know. Some mornings he does. Good morning. I am Jenny. I'm your host, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey. Please join me in our welcome affirmation. For those in Zoom land, it's pasted in your chat. We are an open and affirming science of mind community where the vibration of love lifts you, the wisdom of the ages inspires you, and the science of mind teaching empowers you. We believe that heaven and hell are states of consciousness that you experience in this lifetime, that you are the architect of your life, and that it is never too late to know true happiness. I'd like to thank Michelle for our meditation this morning, and our practitioner of the day is Neil, so thank you both. And it is time for our opening chant.
I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping greenly spirits of trees, and the blue true dream of sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes. I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping greenly spirits of trees, and the blue true dream of sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes. I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping greenly spirits of trees, and the blue true dream of sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes.
Yes, there is a power and a presence that is there now, always has been, always will be. It is that power that is greater than me that I can use. And I allow it. I use it as I allow it to create this beautiful creative intelligence that allows each to build a life, a unique expression of the divine mind. Thank you. Yes, thank you is the simplest, the most perfect, powerful prayer that there is. So right here today, I stand in that thank you, knowing that what comes from Source is good and very good always. And it is a constant yes. And I am so grateful to be here today with this community, with all of those who come together to celebrate our oneness, our togetherness. And as we have as the base of all of our values in this community, love. Right now, right here, this is our expression together of love. I bless the speakers today. Reverend Michelle, I bless the drummers, all those who will come together to make this an opportunity for us to celebrate, be in spirit, and grow together. And in that gratitude, I surrender these words of the power and the presence, the love and the law that makes it all possible. And so it is.
And so it is.
I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping greenly spirit of trees, and a blue true dream of sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes. I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping greenly spirits of trees, and the blue true dream of sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes, which is yes, which is yes.
Thank you, Neil, and thank you, Beth and drummers. It's time now for our monthly affirmation. You can find it on your handout if you're here in person, and if you're on Zoom, it's pasted in your chat. I live each day awake to love, wholeness, and the healing power of forgiveness. I honor the beauty of community, celebrating diversity, and practicing inclusion as sacred expressions of spirit. I walk in authenticity, knowing freedom is my divine birthright. I anchor in faith, opening to infinite possibility and prosperity. Through my commitment to spiritual study and practice, I embody the values that matter and awaken to the life of spirit within me. And so it is.
And as part of what we do every week is very important. It's always important. It's not important just because things are a little unsettled right now. It's important all the time that we have a peace practice and that we understand where peace comes from. And as you will hear me reference today in a couple of different places, You know, our values are up here. In our 7 weeks, we're celebrating
You had it a
these
second ago,
values
Marilyn.
and going
Okay.
into depth on what they mean to us as individuals, but also as a community. And there's a reason that love is number one. Because without love, nothing
got it.
else hits the same way, lands the same way. That's the foundation. So when we talk about peace, peace starts with love. And we all know peace starts here, right? We are an inside-out world, not an outside-in world. So the love we have inside, the peace we have inside, is what needs to be expressed, and it needs to be lived. It needs to be walked, step by step, all the time. So if you would please, with that understanding, repeat after me. I am the peace I wish to see. I know this peace for my family. My family knows this peace for my community. My community knows this peace for my country. And my community knows this peace for the world. So today we are talking about faith and possibility. And as for a little bit different reading, not from the Science of Mind book that is here, but today's reading comes from Living the Science of Mind, page 42, halfway down. Faith is an affirmative mode of thought. Faith says, I can, rather than I cannot, or I shall not. We can learn to have faith in abundance rather than in poverty. We can change our thought in regard to lack. This is what treatment is for. Instead of saying, there's not enough good to go around, we say, all the power there is devoted to my good. I am not afraid of poverty because all the power there is devoted to giving me abundance. God provides me with every good thing today, every day, always. Such statements as these will change our belief from denial to one of positive faith. Whether we can have faith in and having faith in can understand, we may experience according to the law of cause and effect. This law is immutable, invariable, unassailable, and absolute. But, some might ask, is faith in lack equal to faith in abundance? The answer to this question is that there is neither lack nor abundance as such. There is merely what is the way it works. There is merely what is and the way it works. We are so constituted that faith in love overcomes the belief in hate. Our nature is such that faith in life destroys our fear of death. Our nature is such that faith routes all fear all along the line. The great affirmations of life must, of necessity, destroy their apparent opposites. Nevertheless, we cannot overlook the fact that all statements are positive. All statements are affirmations, since each is a statement of one's belief in something. So, just to get us started with our talk on faith, my experience and how I got to be standing up here, when I started when I was young, and you've heard me joke about this before, about the fact that unfortunately there was a time when Protestants and Catholics and, the diversity between all the different groups, and it was taboo for them to get together. So when my parents decided to get married, my father was Catholic, my mother was Lutheran, they had to elope. They couldn't do it. So with that combination, I wasn't sure what I was. Catholic, Lutheran, I was a Catherine. And because of their arrangement, she had to agree that the children would be brought up Catholic. And they tried. They tried to do their best. It was, they sent me, they tried, didn't work, didn't take, sent me to Catholic school for kindergarten. A couple of weeks of that, and I was like, no, sorry, I'm checking out. Even if 5 years old, I was like, I just wasn't getting it. They tried sending me, giving me rosary beads, sending me to CCD. But what kept missing, you get baptized, you have to go to confirmation, but what kept missing in that process is I wasn't registering God, what it really meant to me, or faith. What faith was when somebody asked the question, what faith are you? Well, I'm Catholic. That's not faith. That's a religion. And it's very, very different. I got married in a Catholic church. I still hadn't found any answers by the time I was 21 years old and got married. Yeah, we did that. We got married real young back then. And I knew I was even searching at that point for what did these words mean to me. One day I was out driving around for work, and I decided, maybe I'll just go sit in the Catholic church where I got married, and maybe some answer will come to me. It was locked. I couldn't get in. Should have been a sign, right? It's like, okay. And it really did take a long time for me there was something missing all the way along in what, through all of this, and my wife insisted we raise our daughters, as Catholics. She went to Catholic school all the way up the line. And why? Because it's what you were supposed to do. It was done out of fear. It wasn't done out of a deep faith or a deep love. There was no talk of God. If there was, it was fear. Better do this, you go to hell. Better go to confession, go to confession. All this stuff, that either a punishment or a reward comes later down the line. It really wasn't working for me. Because faith isn't a believing, faith is a knowing. And there's a difference. And when you know it, you can feel the difference. There's no doubt. And that's what I needed. And I finally got to the point, many years later, well into adulthood, of searching, studying, meditating, trying to find everything. It wasn't until I got into this teaching, thanks to Michelle, that I started to wake up to what faith might really be, what it might really mean. And I'm glad to see, too, that there are priests, ministers now who speak to the oneness. I was listening to one last night, and I'm not sure, from a very, very large church, talking about we're all one. We are one with God, one with each other. And quite literally, I remember kind of the moment Michelle and I were out, I believe it was in Salt Lake City at a convention, and I'm always up earlier than her. So I was in the bathroom taking a shower, coming out, and I walked out, and I just looked out the window at the mountains and all that stuff, and I went, I know I'm finding God. I'm finding God within me. And it started to become clear. And when I got that understanding, I realized what faith was. Faith is the knowing that God's here, not out there. Faith for me is knowing that this is how I want to live from the inside out, that the presence of the divine mind and the creative intelligence works from inside out. And what a huge difference. It led me to the idea that it's always faith first, and how important that is. How did it play out in my life? Here's the beautiful way it plays out. Faith and fear can't exist in the same place. It can't happen. If you're living in fear, you need to take a step back and take a look and say, where's my faith? What do I know? So, faith leads to a life of no fear. And leading right into Michelle's talk, if you have no fear, then anything's possible. You'll do anything, you'll try anything, because you have nothing to fear. You're not afraid of failure. You're not afraid of that you're on the wrong track. There's no fear, because faith leads you to live in the present, with the divine mind, with spirit. And since there's no fear, possibility is everywhere. Thank you.
Okay, I need you. This next piece is a West African welcoming chant called Fanga. And I need you to sing along with me, and I need you to stand up and maybe move along with me. Yes? You're not going to be able to resist once you hear the drummers drumming, so if you would stand. So the words are Fanga, Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. And then it gets repeated throughout, okay? So it's welcoming and blessing, and we are blessed today, are we not? Okay. Fanga la fea, ashe, ashe, with me please. Fanga la fea, ashe, 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 ashe. Fanga la fea, ashe, ashe, fanga la fea. Ashe, 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 fanga la fea, ashe, ashe, fanga la fea, ashe, 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 ashe. Ashe, 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 ashe. Yeah. Here we go. Fanga la fea, ashe, ashe. Fanga la fea, ashe, ashe. Ashe, 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 ashe. Ashe, 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 ashe again. Fanga la fea. Ashe, ashe. Fanga la fea. Ashe, ashe. Ashe, ashe. Ashe, ashe. Ashe, ashe. Ashe, ashe.
It is my great pleasure to introduce our speaker for today. She was the founder of this center 23 years ago, and she is now an author, speaker, and teacher doing such important work. Please welcome Dr. Reverend Michelle Wadleigh.
Good morning. Always good to be back, always good to be here. And I'm so glad to be part of this series speaking about the values. And to give you a tiny bit of history, these values were created, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, maybe not quite that long, in a community process of conversation and with the community being involved, the community deciding what matters to us. And so this is what came. And you could see there's a couple of them. There's a couple of them that we couldn't choose, so we just used a comma. We couldn't quite choose between, faith and possibility, or, one or the other. So we did faith and possibility. So we did, community diversity and inclusion. And I'm really glad we did that, because as time has gone on, clearly those words are now the complete when you're looking at the package, although it always mattered to us. And of course, healing and forgiveness. And so that's where they came from. And it was quite an extensive process that we went through. I'm here and I'm happy to be talking about faith and possibility for a number of reasons. But I have to start with taking a survey. And I'm going to survey you all, and I need you to help me to do this, okay? And I'm going to show you how this is going to work. We're going to use your bodies. So I want to know, because we have everything, we have people in here everywhere from your visiting today, because you're drumming, and I thank you for that, and you have no participation. We might have some humanists in the room. We might have some atheists in the room. We might have devout Catholics in the room, and we have some religious scientists. That's those of us practicing the science of mind in the room. So we're all over the place, and I love that. That's often the audience that we speak to. I got fuzzes floating around in front of my face. So but I'd like to understand the culture of this particular room at the moment and your relationship to faith. No matter how you see the definition of that, I would like to see what we believe here as a group. And so the way we're going to do this, and you're going to use both hands, both arms, okay? If you have a little tiny bit of faith and you believe in faith, you're going to raise your hand this way. Or you might raise one hand. Or if faith is something that you lean on every day of your life, you're going to go like this. So I'm going to see what is the culture of this room by you showing me with your hands where you lean on or practice faith. Everybody understand? So I'm going to count to 3, and when you're ready, please raise your hands. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, look. Oh, wow. Very cool. Do you also notice this is the symbol for surrender? Right? For, huh? No, this is touchdown. This is touchdown, but this is also surrender. And surrender is a beautiful aspect of faith when you think about it, right? Because in order to have faith, you're surrendering your knowing. You're not the deep knowing that Neil referred to, but you're surrendering having to know. You know, that thing where I got to figure it out. I got to know the details. Because to have faith is to let go of some of that. The one thing we didn't do when we created these values, although I'm told that Tony demonstrated it perfectly last week, is how do we recognize? They're great up there, but how do we recognize these values? So Tony last week made an extensive list with the way in which the Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey had demonstrated it through a variety of programs and outreach and inreach and all sorts of things. And I'm sorry I didn't hear the whole list. I probably should have listened before I got here. I just would have enjoyed going down memory lane with all those things. But in order for these things to have value, we also need to know how do we recognize it. And there's recognizing it in our own lives. But we did this as a community. So what does faith in a community look like? And I do believe that that's going to be a worthy conversation coming somewhere along the line. But each of these qualities, what does it look like? Are we in practice? Do we teach these concepts? Do we teach these values? And I know at the end today, Neil has a handout today where you can comment, journal prompts. So he's going to have a handout for those of you who want to take this into contemplation further than just here today. So I have great faith, and the truth is I was born a metaphysician. I didn't need the science of mind to prove it to me. I didn't need science to say to me, oh, your faith is working. I didn't need any source of measurement. I was born into it. I believed it, maybe to a degree blindly, but I'm okay with that. Because I like living out on the skinny branches where faith sometimes exists in a world that looks like it's going to hell in a handbasket, right? However, I'm also suddenly very much, my attention is on quantum physics. I'm not your nerdy girl normally, but I'm nerding out a little bit about quantum. And I'm going to pull that in today to hopefully make it make sense to some of you. But for the nerds in the room, we have some nerds in the room? Yeah. Well, I know it's not just you. I know you're not the only nerd in the room. But they brought together a bunch of physicists and they gave them a challenge. Because they believe that if you can't explain something within a short amount of time, then you really don't know what you're talking about. Now, I don't remember the names of the people who did this. I apologize for that. I should have looked it up, and I neglected to do that. So they gave a challenge, and the challenge was describe quantum physics in a single sentence. Like, you think about all the books and all the stuff and all the studies and all the scientists that are behind this. A single sentence. And so one of the physicists said this. The nerds in the room are going to love this. The rest of you just don't even worry about it. Don't look waves. Look particles. You get that? For those of you who look at that. Don't look waves, look particles. If it did this, don't worry about it, because I can't give you more than that at the moment. Not to those specifics. Quantum is offering me an understanding about faith and possibility that really nothing else has, even though I don't need it. I mean, I can nerd out on metaphysics. totally, and walk down the road and throw up my hands. And I'm practicing it now more than ever before in my life. But it requires me letting go of thinking I'm directing it. You can't have faith and force your direction. Do you understand that? Faith is all about allowance. Ernest Holmes said, faith is a mental attitude so inwardly embodied that the mind can no longer deny it. Faith is the demonstration of conviction. It is knowing before seeing. It is knowing before seeing. So, we have spoken for years in this community about the power of consciousness and how everything comes from consciousness. And what's interesting is I've watched and read a lot of material, and you put a bunch of scientists in a room and they will not agree on what consciousness is. I've seen it. They do not agree. There's not a collective single definition for consciousness. And where for many years there was an argument about does life come from consciousness or not, they're coming back around, and these quantum physicists are basically saying, yeah, it does. Now, why does this matter? It matters because there's the us as individuals, and then there's the collective. I could probably pretty easily get you to agree with me that there's a lot of upset happening in the world, yes? Okay. And I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. That doesn't matter. What matters is that those of us who believe in consciousness, in the role of consciousness, in the role of faith in our lives, it requires a collective agreement. It does require a collective agreement to move the needle. I'm not saying this. Quantum scientists are saying this, that if you and I could get to a place of agreement, we could shift this shit show. But we have to get to agreement. We have to let go of the right and wrong. Because what doesn't work and what doesn't work is the vacillation. Sometimes I have faith, sometimes I don't. Neil is correct that the things that interrupt faith or the belief in possibility is fear. When you entertain fear more than you entertain faith, you've canceled the thing you want to be faithful for. When you entertain doubt more than you entertain faith, you've canceled it. And so having agreement can be complicated. If we walked outside right now and there was somebody you like and you're chatting outside and they say to you, oh, what a crummy day, the weather's cool and it's nasty out. Sometimes we feel compelled to be nice, so we agree just to make the person feel better. Right? Have you ever done that? Agree just to make somebody feel better or to not be in conflict. The problem with that is, what are you agreeing with? What are you collaborating with? So if I go out there and I don't want to challenge that person, now maybe there's appropriate times to do that. But if I don't want to challenge that person and I'm in agreement, yeah, what a crummy day. But my view, because life is simulation. Life is assimilation. I will never doubt that again. And I go out and say, but it's glorious. It's sunny. It's a perfect fall day, and the colors, and oh, the air is fresh. I'm going to experience what I brought to the table. That person is going to experience what they brought to the table. You get that? Our world reflects our attitude, our worldview. So to have faith in possibility, and you get to decide where you focus it, Faith is not a thing just in and of itself. It needs context. It requires context in order to have value. One of my favorite people, Neville Goddard, said, "Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. And," he said, "assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and watch the world rearrange itself." Isn't that great? Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and watch the world rearrange itself. So, when we seek to be of influence for change, when that is who, it could be in your family. Say, as we all know, the holidays are coming. For some of us, holidays are filled with happy moments and happy thoughts and gatherings. For some, it's filled with pain. Right? You know what I'm talking about? For some of us, it's got that. You get to decide what you want to cultivate. You get to decide that. I get to decide that. And so what I attach my belief to, what I attach my faith to, will begin to be cultivated. When you and I allow the world, our family, our boss, our partner, our husband, our wife, our kids, when we allow them to have influence over our okayness, we have given our power away. That's one thing that happens when we entertain fear and doubt and our own personal power more than just basking in the state of surrender. Because in my state of surrender, I am going to ground myself in principle. I'm grounding myself in what's possible. Faith is a creative force. It is a creative force. And there is the classic, and it's in our textbook. According to your faith be it done unto you. Who said that? Yes, Jesus. According to your faith be it unto you. And in truth, that's metaphysics. The belief that we bring to the table. And I don't care if you are a complete atheist. You're thinking in quantum. The quantum world has established this now as a fact. That which you ponder upon and you continue to contemplate upon, you are creating. That kind of is good news. It's not so good news. It's really good news if you have a disciplined mind. It's really good news if you know how to catch those things, redirect your attention. It's really bad news if you're caught at the mercy of the waves of emotions that are happening around you, whether it's in your family or whether it's on, in our country or on the planet. We, those of us in this room right now, and even if you're here only on occasion, I believe that if you're hearing this message is meant for you to hear. That we bring the possibility to what if it's the room, our family, our relationship, our job, that we bring it by believing in what we believe is possible. How do we apply this? We apply it every moment of every day with whatever challenge is before you. There's some practitioners in the room. As a practitioner, and in this movement, a practitioner is one who studies in how to bring prayer to a community, to individuals, to shift consciousness. So as a practitioner, what we have been trained to look through the drama, through. We've been trained to look through the chaos. Because if you and I get caught at the level of the chaos and we allow that chaos and that upset to grab hold of our emotions, and then we are generating a feeling, we are generating more of what we don't want. You get that? When you allow the chaos that's around you to capture your attention more than your faith, you are part of creating what you don't want. Does that make sense? That's not easy. I know that's not easy. It's not easy to not be an upset about some of what's going on. It's not easy to ignore it when there's some drama in the family. It's not easy to face some of the challenges that we are facing right now. It takes grit and courage and bravery to stand in your truth and not surrender yourself, and to not be in your powerlessness. We could be tempted. But you have the power, Ed Capiello and Jenny and Edna and Barbara and everyone. We have it. And it's all about our attention. So how will we know when faith and possibility, or how will we recognize it in this community? When we come together and our knee-jerk responses are compassion. Our knee-jerk responses are acceptance. Our knee-jerk is to understand someone and not to critique them. Because then we're having faith in where the Spirit lives in you. Then I'm going to speak to the presence of the power, and you can call it God or whatever you want. When I believe that that exists in you, I speak to that. And when we begin to cultivate in a bigger way, speaking to that in each other, we are ignoring the human aspects. They're human. It's natural. But let's not plant our flag there. You get that? You know what I'm saying? Let's not plant our flag there. Let's learn how to look past and look through and rise above. Because then we're part of the healing of the planet. Or just Montclair, or New Jersey, or the country. The peace practice that we have was born because it came out of our belief of having a 360 point of view of the world. It is critical that when I show up that I have faith in humanity so much so that I share I screwed up the other day. Actually, I'll do true confessions for a second. I was going to my grandson's school to plant bulbs. I go every year. We plant, I don't know what they do with last year's bulbs because you never see them there. I have no idea what they do. Anyone who knows about bulbs knows there should be thousands of them, but we plant them every year. And so I walk into the office after two women had let themselves in, and normally have to ring the doorbell. I wasn't sure if I had to go in or whatever. And I held the door open, and the secretary, she has a job to do. You can't hold the door open, you got, and I'm like, she has seen me 1,000 friggin' times. I've been there for readings, for bulbs, she knows my face. Matter of fact, they have this new system. This is a little off subject, but it's interesting. Once you register, if I drive by one of the schools in my town, a thing comes up on my phone and lets me know what school I've been near. Isn't that a little creepy? A little bit creepy. Okay, back on subject. So I lost it for a moment. I did. But that's kind of a rare moment, I will tell you. Most of my life is on board with knowing that that woman was just doing the best she can. Someone gave her a job, and she was protecting the children. I know that. I didn't have to be so witchy. I won't even tell you what came out of my mouth. Faith for me is knowing that I can, this is going to sound silly, that I can get a parking lot, that I can get the airplane, the tickets at a price I can afford, that I can arrive on time even if it looks like there's traffic up ahead. Faith says to me that when the newscasters are predicting weather, that I'm still going to be okay and it's not going to show up as they say. Now that might sound like I'm being a little arrogant, but I wield my faith in such a way that I trust my path is going to be clear. And we can do that. We can do that. We can be in agreement for that. So I'd like to bring to you a call and response. And so your response is going to be, I believe in possibility. Can you say that for me?
I believe in possibility.
Beautiful. In the face of the unknown, when the path is unclear, when fear whispers you can't, when spirit calls me forward, when I stumble or lose my way, when doubt creeps in, when I can't see the evidence yet, when old stories try to limit me, when I don't know how it will happen, I open my heart to the good that is mine because I say yes to divine timing because I remember who I am because, I believe, I trust, I act. And so it is. Let's know together that there is a possibility happening right here in this room. That the power and the presence and the love that created each of us continues to create as us. Let us lean into the reality that life is fertile and beautiful, and it lives alongside of us as we create into it. Let us be the voice, let us be the heart, let us be the thinking, let us be that which cultivates possibility. Let us feel the strength of being a spiritual human, potent in all ways that are good and very good. I trust that we have what we need, when we need it, as we need it, every moment that we need it. Let us be the healer. Let us be the healing consciousness. Let us be the presence of love. And let us drink it in every moment of every day. For this, I am so incredibly grateful. I surrender this word to love, to law, and to the very awe of life itself. And so it is.
Thank you, Michelle. And thank you, drummers. It's so nice hearing more in depth about the values that we're taking this time to do this as a newer member of this community. because also I didn't know that it was collaborative and that you came up with them together as a community. And I think that just really speaks to the inclusion here, and that all those values, they're more than just buzzwords up on a poster. They're really what make us who we are, and that we really embody them. And it makes me feel so proud and grateful to be part of this community. And something interesting, I'm watching this documentary on Netflix right now, and it's about blue zones. And if you don't know what blue zones are, it's these locations in the world that researchers have found. They have, like 10 times more people living over 100 than other parts of the world. So they're studying these areas, like what is it about these communities that the people have such longevity? And as I was watching, I thought, wow, a lot of the things that those communities have, we have here. A big part, aside from more obvious things like diet, like exercise, things like that, the one last night talked about, that I was watching, I think it's 4 parts. It was faith. So that's very synchronistic. That's a big value that they carry. And then there was community, and just having a set of beliefs and values that they stand for. These principles in their lives are leading to longevity and fuller and longer lives. So how nice for us that hopefully we too will live over 100 if you want to.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring, if you're not aware, speaking of living to be 100, our beloved member Wadleigh, who passed recently, and we did put out when the services will be on November 3rd, if you'd like any more information. But Wadleigh made it 1 month before being 100. So, a century of love. And she was wonderful. She was just such a beautiful part. I remember when we celebrated, I think it was her 90th birthday, we were over in Caldwell maybe, and we set her up like queen for the day in her own chair, and and it was like, she was just a beautiful person and just a wonderful part of this community, as was Trannis, who we lost this past year, I believe, as well. And he was like 95. I'm not taking credit for those ages. I'm just saying having those people in our community goes to my appreciation, and hopefully yours, for the wisdom that comes from people who have lived wonderful, beautiful, loving lives. So just wanted to mention that about Wadleigh. And if you want to know more about where her services are, send us an email. We'll get you more information. I did put it out on WhatsApp. So
Thank you, Neil. And you just reminded me that's also something that they talk about is in those communities, because the people are living so long, the other members of the community, the younger ones, the wisdom that they gain of having those people in their community. So, okay, now it is time for our abundance blessing time. If you would please join me in our conscious giving affirmation. I bless this gift that I give today. I give this gift from my heart, and I give it mindfully. May my gift go further to heal, prosper, and bless this center and all who enter. I accept all good that comes as a result of this flow, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. The announcements, just that. Next week, we will be on Zoom only, Sunday, November 2nd. It is also daylight savings time, so remember to turn your clocks forward. Yes. Oh, wait, I was trying to think of the little spring. Oh, yeah, spring. Yeah, that's it. I was trying to think of it in my head. Okay, so we're turning our clocks back. Yes, and Reverend Joel will be talking with us about our value of community, diversity, and inclusion. The weekly CSLNJ Values Personal Inquiry worksheets can also be found on our website. So if you didn't get one here in person today, you could go to our website and check that out. We have a program here within our community called InReach. Please help members of our community by donating to the InReach program. It was created to help members who are experiencing financially challenging times, and it has helped a number of our members. If you require assistance or if you know of anyone that is in need, please contact Reverend Neil, and always this is done in a confidential way. And with that, I think...
At the Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, we believe in empowering individuals to discover their inner strength and their connection to divine life. Through our supportive community, transformative workshops, and uplifting services, we provide a safe space for personal growth and spiritual exploration. Whether you're seeking clarity, healing, or a deeper understanding of life's mysteries, our center offers practical tools and timeless wisdom to help you thrive. Join us in creating a more diverse, compassionate, and kind world. Your world, the way you want to create it.